பேரலை நேயர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். இன்றைக்கு நம்மோடு சிறப்பு விருந்தினராக பங்களா பொக்கோ அமைப்பிலிருந்து திரு கார்கா சாட்டர்ஜி இணைந்திருக்கிறார். அவரோடு நாம் ஆங்கிலத்தில் இன்றைக்கு உரையாட இருக்கிறோம். அவரோடு பேசலாம். குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சார்.
Good afternoon.
In the yesterday's meet, three things were mentioned. For a nation to get nationalized, there should be three things in common: shared joy, shared sorrows, and shared dream. I don't think we have a shared joy among all the states or all the nationalities, but we have a shared sorrow, which is governor. Tamilnadu, Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra, West Bengal, every state is getting sorrows from the governor. We have a shared sorrow, and we can plainly see that every state is uniting. Even for example, the yesterday's student wing conference, many states, representatives from many states and many nationalities have came together on a forum. It is happening. Do you think will this continue up to the next general election of India?
See, there are two things here. Most of the states that you are mentioning are non-Hindi states. The union, when it remains with a party, Hindi imperialist party like BJP, it favors Hindi states. Why would Hindi states join this? You are taking money from Tamil Nadu and taking money from Bengal and giving it to UP Bihar, and Tamil Nadu and Bengal are unhappy. You think UP and Bihar will come and join you? This is not going to happen. Let's be realistic. Okay. Even if there is shared sorrow at some level, but sorrow is less important than subsidy. Okay. Sorrow is much less important than subsidy.
Subsidy of what?
Subsidy of whatever they have. What does Bihar produce? They pay 100 takas to the union funds and get 300 rupees in back. Where is this 200 rupees coming from? From Mars? Huh? From us. Why should we pay? Why should Tamils... See, if you talk in terms of reparations, right? That I did some wrong to you, so you are paying me back. I understood. What have Tamils ever done to Bihar that they have to subsidize it? All Tamil problems are solved. Everybody is joyful. Everybody, all wants have been all covered. So much so that, okay, give some. Not the case, right? So you should work harder so that your children do not get the benefits but people in Bihar do. What kind of a system is this? It's a very basic question. So yes, unity is possible, but it should be unity between the major manufacturing and revenue generating states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Bengal, because we do not have numbers on our side because of, huge population growth. India does not have any population growth problem. Hindi belt has a population growth problem. Whenever they want to hide their own problem, they call it India's problem. Okay. India's problem is that they have this problem. Our problem is that they have this problem, and the problem is every day getting imported into our areas through Indian Railway. That is our problem. Okay. Anyways, it's a different issue. So, these states have to then unite. Completely unite and precipitate some sort of a standstill, saying that we have to have a treaty. Think about 1965. Okay. Union government wanted Hindi to be
Official language.
Only official language, no English. You learnt English, I learnt English. Because Annadurai, Kalainar all fought for this right. That is why we learnt English. If there was no incentive, we wouldn't have learnt English. We would be second-class slaves of Hindi imperialism by then. Okay. We'll be doing what? We will be thinking like Ajay Devgan.
We will be lighting.
Yeah.
We will be lighting lamps to get rid of Corona.
Yeah. Go Corona, go. So, no, there was one Corona Mata Pujo in Bihar. And I'm supposed to think these are my brothers and sisters. I know I have brothers and sisters. They're not like Corona Mata Pujo type of people. Okay. I come to Tamil Nadu, I see a civilized place. There is a civilization. It's not a question of being old and new. Civilization is a certain attainment. You don't kill your girl children before they are born. That's being civilized. Anyways, so these states in 1965, largely Tamil Nadu stood. What is Tamil Nadu's population? Less than 5% of Indian population. Around 5, right? 4 or something, 4 or 5. You could stop. Why? It's a crisis. What can you do when all the people are united? Okay. So if now major manufacturing states and revenue producing states united, we can bend these people. Just come to a deal. And the deal can only happen keeping 2026 in mind, where then they are planning to change the number of seats to delimitation so as to reward their excess population and lack of condom supply. But there is no lack actually. It's some sick mentality. More the better. You know, God will feed. God won't feed. Non-Hindi people have to feed.
So we are the gods.
No. If that was the case, then we would be treated very differently. You know. If that was the case, we would be treated very differently. Gods decide how humans act. Humans don't decide how gods act. Very basic, right? God's children do not hang themselves because of getting 1176 marks out of 1200. You know, it's human children. We are not gods. We are humans, and as far as the non-Hindi people in the Indian Union are concerned, we are second-grade humans, and that has to change. But the point I was making was that even the Tamil people together, if they can do this, I can show the Tamil, the Malayali, the Marathi, the Kannadigas, the Telugus, Bengalis together can do much more. And let me add, constitution and equality minded Democrats in the Hindi belt are also our allies. It's not as if such mentalities are products of DNA. It's not a DNA based question, it's not a racist question. It is not that this community is bad, that community is bad. It's not that question. It is that structural advantages in the form of imperial intervention which is creating situations like this. 2026, they have this seat redistribution, 1,000 seat parliament. This 1,000-seat parliament is not for the rest of the seats beyond 543 to be filled up by wives and children of MPs. There will be more MPs. And it will not be proportional increase. It will be according to new population figures, 2021. Your numbers will decrease, your proportion will decrease, my proportion will decrease. We came up with this Constitution of India based on our numbers in 1947. That was the basis of our confidence, that we could then hold this in this way, and this is the balance of powers and it cannot be trampled. If a party now is sweeping the Hindi belt, we are becoming a Hindi majority country. A Hindi majoritarian country. I do not want to think my children from their birth that I live in a country where I am a linguistic minority and that makes me a second-class citizen or second-grade citizen. I do not want that. Today, Bengali speaking people from West Bengal, bona fide Indian citizens in BJP ruled areas and controlled institutions, be it UP, Noida, Gurgaon, Delhi, even Bangalore, are being hooted out as Bangladeshis. You think this will not go on for a very long time?
So it's a high time we need a change in the Delhi. But recently there is a projection around media that Prashant Kishore is going to change the Congress. If PK joins Congress, it will give a immense power to the Congress, and it will regenerate itself and it will save us from the underlying current. Do you think Prashant Kishore can save Congress or can save the nation by forming an alliance? Because recently he tweeted that it's time for us to go to the real masters, the people. Then he have mentioned that Suru of Bihar se, that is.
You have to translate all of this. Prashant Kishore's language, I refuse to understand sitting in Tamilnadu. It will be a disrespect to Annadurai and Kalainar if I understand that language even sitting here. So please tell me what he said in English.
Starting from Bihar.
Okay. Many things start from Bihar and enter West Bengal, like trains, buses, mafias, criminal gangs. So I'm hoping this is not one of those things. But Prashant Kishore, as much I have heard, so he does a data analysis, and based on that he fine-tunes certain processes within political parties which increases efficiency or understand what are people's issues, and then to curate, direct the campaign towards these things. This is what I've heard. That is what he has done till now, and that he did for Modi, he did for YSR Rajshekar Reddy, he did for Trinamool, has worked also in here with DMK, and these were the successful cases. The unsuccessful cases I have heard was UP with Congress once, etc. See, there is a bigger crisis. If you analyze the, let me put it in my own number analysis. It's a longer term. If you look at the number of percentage of seats won by Delhi parties. Delhi parties, I mean, let's say Congress, Janata Dal, and BJP, all of these Delhi parties, historically from 1952 to now, their combined vote share, the Delhi vote, okay, not real vote, people, the vote for, imaginary issues, not vote on real issues. That vote is around 50%, okay, for Delhi party voting. So you cannot have two Delhi parties doing both well. It is not possible. Let's remember that element first. Second, what you see as BJP, this Gujarat and Rajasthan money funded Hindi belt kind of supremacist ideology. Okay? Was this born with the BJP? No. This was there in the Congress all the time. This force, this camp, this current was in the Congress. But in the Congress, other people were also there. Kamraj was there. Various other people were. Atulya Ghosh was there in Bengal. So there was a slight, though these people wanted to make their own Congress, but these people were also pulling it. There was a certain kind of thing, loose fitting, like a loose fitting shirt, right? So you can adjust a little bit. You know what I mean? But for these people, BJP is a tight. So it's completely fitting, looking very smart, perfect. Perfect for this Gujarat, Rajasthan corporate money, which is mostly looted from contracts. See, how do these people make money? It's not based on what they know, it's based on who they know. Elon Musk, why is he famous for? Tesla. It's a certain kind of technology. For all rich people, Facebook. Bill Gates, Microsoft. I can go on like this. Ambani,
Reliance,
doing phone, 4G, contracts. Ambani, ports, what? Contracts. Tenders.
petroleum.
Tenders. Ambani is not producing, Adani is not producing petroleum. If I take Adani and kind of do this, will petroleum come out? No, na. What does he know about petrol? He cannot even tell you the sub fractions of petrol, butane, etc. He cannot tell. That doesn't matter. All he knows is that this system, this Delhi imperial system and the PSU bank and the IAS, etc., this is managed, so the loans will come. See, who are from their group successful rich Indians? Who are they? What is the difference between these and Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, etc.? What is the difference? These got caught. That is the difference. These got caught. It is like this. See, you give me that bottle, please, once very briefly. It is like this. Some people are drinking by straw, smooth. Let's say this is milk, buttered milk. Drinking by straw, very smooth. And some of these Nirav Modi types are drinking like this, its face, it all over the face. That is the only difference. But both are these drinkers only. That is what I am saying. So, the Congress has a bigger problem here. Is that the space, the Congress base in Hindi speaking areas, they have found a more natural base. They have found a more natural base. Very tough for the Congress. The only proposition can be, see, this gulf, this imperial extraction of non-Hindi states by this Gujarat, Rajasthan crony capitalist plus this Bimaru state bursting population, this combination is creating a difference between various parts of India, which is unfortunate. Congress in the Hindi states can say, look here, to its base, look here, I think they have done it too much. Now this might come back to bite us. So to save the situation, to save the subsidies, to save the finance commission, let's actually plan peace. Let Congress say these things. It will, and I am sure it has a role in non-Hindi states in certain areas, because because they are rational people, as long as they can hold the opposition space there, right? Then the entry of something like BJP can be prevented. See, if BJP enters most of these non-Hindi states, it's easy for non-Hindi state rulers to win. BJP. Because non-Hindi states in most areas are civilized people. So, it is easier that way. But it also gives a permanent, although small, foothold to the BJP, and the voter share, the mind space is bigger than the vote share. Especially among some younger people who, let's say, have a lack of self-identity and maybe shy to talk to girls, various kind of people think need Viagra for various reasons. BJP is Viagra for certain these kind of people. Except that even that is not being provided for cheap. To these people only. We don't need it. But people who need it, all this Aryavarta. What is this Aryavarta? Viagra, no? But at least provide it for cheap. He is doing free service. At least provide the data for cheap. I think it is not a question of PK only. What I have heard from various people is that PK is and can be effective. I have seen in Bengal that it certainly has helped as a political observer. I can see it certainly has helped. But it is also one problem is that this also points to a crisis of political parties. PK or any such entity would fill in a gap where a gap exists. And why have political parties allowed to have these gaps and are not supple, and why do they need this external thing, right? So that is a much more major problem, and yes, we have to always go to the people. But this going to the people business is a very top-down affair. In fact, the people are being mobilizing. Various movements are happening all over. The anti-NEET movement here, anti-Jallikattu movement may seem very unrelated. Let's say anti-Jallikattu movement is happening. Okay? What if we put Amit Shah in the middle of that? It's a general question. I do not want to put him because he should be happy where he is. But I'm just saying that movements have happened. Delhi may not show it. What was that slogan? Jallikattu ille, the Delhi Kattu or something?
Yes.
Yes. So they understand what to show and what not to show. Okay. And say Bengali nationalists like us, we also understand what is Jallikattu. Delhi also understands that Jallikattu. They won't talk about it. Because if they open that question up of inequity between states and nationalities of the Indian Union, then all this, Vishwaguru and whatever kind of bullshit they do through these, their Hindi English channel sitting in Delhi, all this will disappear. What is all this? What is this thing called national channel? In Hindi. That's why it's national. From when did greater producing more babies become qualification for national? Very strange. Whole world is going towards population control. Bengal's TFR rate is like Denmark. Bihar's TFR rate is like Pakistan.
In your answer, you have mentioned that there is a gap, and we believe PK is going to fill that, and some people believe that PK is going to fill that. Identifying the gap is the answer to who is going to win the election. We have to wait and see that. But you have mentioned one thing in the speech you gave day before yesterday. You know not what you have. Preserve it with all your might. I can feel a depth in that sentence.
Very important. See, what do you think? I'll tell you. I was not always a Bengali nationalist. And I grew up watching all this Delhi kind of garbage as media. What was Tamil politics? Black people, big cutout, cinema star, corruption, end of story. And fridge and mixie. I'm giving you a very kind of a objective thing of, from that distance, what Delhi feeds to you about me, about you. About your whole land, which is older than Delhi, older than Gandhi. Okay, much older than all of these things they have. This Red Fort and all of this. Much older. Much older. This is your summary. Okay. And of course, now, as I understand, a state where there are more two-wheeler owners than ration card holders, where the graduate enrollment, the number of people, the proportion of young people of a certain age group who are getting into college divided by the number of people in that age group, the GER, that is like Western countries. The doctor to hospital ratio, doctor to population ratio is 4 in 1,000. The number of colleges in any district, forget district, in any, let's say parliamentary constituency, is not less than 10. Any, almost any, take any. So all of the, and I can go on and on and on. The fact that you have no Hindi means that, call it Dravidian ideology, call it Tamil nationalism, okay. It has created within the Indian Union framework an alternative model of how to make people live longer, make people eat better, make people live better, make people dress better, make people happier. That's simple as that, and that's why we are here to live. You and I, we will be here for in this world for what, 60, 70, 80 years? How we spend those years and in what quality. So if we are having one piece of chicken, we want another piece that will be more happier. If I am in hospital, I should get, the blood pressure checked, and there should be the ECG and whatever. All of these systems that they exist, and education should be there, aspiration should be more. A person should not have to go too far away from his homeland, his native, to find a job. The famous plan of having a kind of small industrial parks every 30 kilometers. Or rather than not removing urban slums, but Karunanidhi's Housing Development Board, in great locations, even some sea facing, the Grand Chola would have liked that plot maybe. You know what I'm saying? Which means that a lot of gains have been made by these people and who have been shown as caricatures by Delhi to us non-Hindi people. It is time. That is why here, because we are born with it. Of course it will be like this. Of course there will be electricity. Of course there will be running water. Of course there will be opportunities. Of course, right? And most of the Indian citizens do not come from this space. Now that I see that a party like Hindi imperialist party like BJP, which is ruling Bihar, UP, Haryana, Rajasthan, they are coming. Yogi Adityanath is coming and preaching how things are to be run. I remember one slipper shot by Siddaramaiah. It was very nice. He said Yogi Adityanath had come to distribute knowledge to Siddaramaiah. Okay. Siddaramaiah said, you said many things. Yogi by then was CM of UP. He said, he'll say only one thing I will say in return. Waiting period to get train from UP to Karnataka is 1 month. Waiting period to get train from Karnataka and UP is available tonight. Nobody is going there. It's coming only. So, when I see, even though a small proportion of Tamil youth thinking into BJP, this, that, that's why I said, you do not know what you have. You do not know what you have. The reality, the real Tamilnadu built by Arainar, Kalainar and his worthy successor, Talapati Stalin, was not built in WhatsApp. It is not a meme. It is real. It is real. So do not exchange superior reality than this UP Bihar for memes created by this UP Bihar Rajasthan Gujarat gang. It's a very bad deal, that exchange. And me as a Bengali nationalist from Bengal, which is hugely now afflicted by Hindi imperialism, the same Rajasthan capital and huge entry of people and then creating communal tension within. We want to say that we are under assault. We need your help. We need your assistance. Because if we had fallen, think what would have happened to you. You would have been under huge pressure.
Yes.
Right?
Of course.
That BJP was stopped in Bengal made international news. People thought these people cannot be beaten. Bengalis showed only Bengalis will rule Bengal. Delhi cannot rule Bengal. Delhi will never rule Bengal. Bengalis are not born to be ruled. We are not subjects. We are citizens. We shed the maximum amount of blood for this, removing the British from the Indian subcontinent.
No one can deny.
Name 5 Gujarati martyrs against the British. 5. Anybody who is watching, name 5. If you cannot name 5, please Google and write 5 in the comments. Okay, it will take time. And I'm sure you may not even find it. Name 5 people from the same area who have taken more than 5,000 crores from Indian banks and gone to foreign countries. And you want to learn patriotism from Gujarat. Bengalis will learn patriotism from Amit Shah, Narendra Modi. There is a word called Mansi Soni, MANSI space SONI. I'm also telling your viewers to Google that word and see what comes up. When you have such people in important posts, I'm avoiding the names because of legal reasons, snooping on young girls after doing bad things with them. These are the people.
And I can surely say that Joy Bangla and Valga Tamil, Valga Tamilnadu are not different slogans. Both are same in the context. And the Delhi will realize that, and we will be standing together in the fight of the last bastion upcoming in 2024 general elections. Yesterday you have mentioned a thing. I have to quote that to finish this. Destruction of Vidya Shagor statue in Bengal by Amit Shah's procession. It was not just the statue which was broken. It is the message they want to convey that your national identity will be broken and we will not allow that. And that was reflected in the elections that we could see that. Let's hope for the best in the upcoming general elections, and we will be talking a lot more about the vacuum that the political parties have in them.
In the upcoming campaign, I am in the run-up to the campaigns, and I would like to appeal, because this is happening in English, so it will have a, I wouldn't say a wider audience, okay, but I would say a more heterogeneous audience of various nationalities. So, you do not have to have only Tamils and Bengalis. Udiyas and Telugus just talk to each other. When Udiyas and Telugus talk to each other and say, understand how Delhi is screwing them, okay, and that the fact that they cannot give BSF exams in their mother tongues, that is unity in diversity. Everywhere we need unity in diversity. Unity in diversity with the precondition of dignity, equality and liberty is our slogan. Every seat in 2024, if they want to have want to change in Delhi, has to have 1-to-1 fight. But there has to be a plan B, which is protecting the last upright force against Hindi imperialism.
Rather than using unity in diversities, we can use unity with diversities. We have diversities, upholding that our nationalistic diversities. We shall unite together to protect the nation. We shall unite together to protect our identities. We shall unite together to protect our rights. Joy Bangla, Valga Tamil.
Joy Bangla, Valga Tamil.
Thank you.